I'm going to say about the LSU South Carolina scuffle. I am hoping that no one uses this as an opportunity to talk negatively, to start a narrative about these black women, these women college basketball players, because they were showing emotion. Emotions got high. Things happened. It escalated. It was crazy. I understand it. It really was. But this is not the time to sit there and be like, calling them names, might we add. We know people love to say they're thugs, they're doing this and that. Emotions are high. You don't say that when hockey players are beating on each other for the entire game. Y'all don't say that when football players are punching each other with helmets on, which is very dumb to do. Y'all don't say any of that when men get to show emotion in their sport and fight and do all those things. It happened. These are two amazing teams. What did you expect? What do you expect to happen when the refs are not controlling the entire game? What do you expect? Do you not understand that they didn't call even a foul for either team in the fourth quarter until like the 2-minute mark? When by at that point, this has happened. So some of this is on the refs. You have to control this game. We know it's intense. It's the SEC championship game. It's LSU South Carolina. These are dogs out here. These are hoopers. They're fighting for a right to win. It's passion out there. You have to control that immediately. You got to control that when they're jawing in the first quarter, when LSU's like, we got to punch first. We got to get our revenge. They came in our house and beat us. All right, we got to be aggressive. You got to control it then. Because then what is South Carolina going to do? Oh, okay, let's up our level. Then you get this. Emotions are high. Things happen and they get crazy. But it's, to me, nothing more, nothing less. It's just one of those things where you're like, I wish it wouldn't have happened because it took away from how competitive that game really was. And also, for some reason, people are trying to vilify Angel Reese because when the fight was happening, she turned her back and went to go sit down on the end of the bench. If y'all were watching the whole clip, while this is happening, she's bent over in pain because, again, she's on a bad ankle right now. She walked into this game with a boot on. She said her ankle was as swollen as a tennis ball last game. So she's in pain. This fight's happening. She's like, man, I don't have time for this. Like, I'm in pain. My ankle's in pain. I've been getting kind of beat up in this post a little bit, getting no calls. I'm about to go sit on this bench and y'all figure that out and let me know when the game starts. I'm about to take this break right here. And to also be honest, that's the smartest thing for her because y'all would have been talking so much about her if she was in that fight. Now, y'all quick to throw her in some stuff. Y'all quick. So the one time she's like, you know what? I'm going to sit this one out and chill. My teammates got that. I'm going to rest up this ankle real quick. Now y'all saying she turned her back on her teammates. I just really don't think y'all know what y'all want to believe or like or dislike about Angel Reese at this point. If you didn't watch the South Carolina LSU game, you missed out. This is really Clash of the Titans every time they play. Alpha on alpha. And I know everyone thinks that they really don't like each other. I don't really think it's that. I really believe that they're just competing and they understand that both of them are alphas. They're strong. They want to fight. If you really watch the game and kind of the talking and all that, that's all in the game of the sport. Emotions are high. You gonna chat. You ain't gonna sit there and have somebody feeling like they bullying you on the court, talking to you crazy. You gonna talk back. That you gotta have some of that, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think that these teams really have beef. I really believe that they're just competing. And I say that just because, like, you know if a team really got beef. I just think in between them lines, when it's time to hoop, it ain't no friends. It ain't friendly. And it shouldn't be because they're competing for something very meaningful. Me saying that, I love LSU and I love South Carolina. And I'm going to tell you why I love LSU. I love LSU because I think that they are okay with being the villain in the narratives of games. And I think that they have also put it in their minds that, man, no one wants us to win again. Nobody still doesn't believe us after we already won. And it seems like they have faced a lot of adversity throughout this season that honestly will bring a team together or break a team. And I think it has brought them together. And I like how they went into this game like, man, we're going to talk first. We're going to punch first. Y'all came in BR and beat us. We going to come with it too. We going to get out there. And I like South Carolina because they know everyone's kind of looking at them and being like, y'all aren't really the best South Carolina team Don Staley has had. Y'all are undefeated, but barely, right? Y'all are going to run into problems at some point. And they keep coming back like, man, y'all don't know who we are. We out here hooping too. We got something to prove too. So when you have two teams that come together and it's time for an SEC championship game, tempers are going to flare. It's going to be high. We're competing to win. We ain't out here to be soft. We competing to win. And that's why I love watching women's college basketball. Because, I mean, this is amazing. It really is. And if you watched it, not just the scuffle, you would have saw that. I do hope the NCAA does do for March Madness and is understand that there are more storylines than what's happening in Iowa. Love Caitlin Clark, love Iowa. There's a lot more storylines that you could really, really dig into with a lot of these women's teams that are hooping dogs. Like, it's going to be an amazing March Madness. It gives me chills when I think about it. But I hope that they do their due diligence throughout the entire tournament for all these women teams because they all deserve their respective coverage because these games are going to be dogfights throughout the entire tourney. Now it's time for me to talk about what I saw from LSU and South Carolina. Number one, Anissa Morrow to me is always the unsung hero for LSU. She is. And when they played South Carolina the first time, she was the consistent bucket. And what I've seen these last few games for her is really that she is the complete player for them. To me, she's their lifeline in a sense. Angel Reese is their lifeline, but Anissa Morrow is so important to their success. And I say that defensively because she's like a post guard. She can guard around the perimeter with the other guards, but she can also defend the post bodied. We know she's out there always throwing bows for those rebounds. I mean, then don't get me started on her offense. I'm talking about catch and shoot three. She could get in her bag, get a little step back, automatic. If she needs to start dribbling, she could go in the mid-range bag and pull up. She has the strength to go inside to the basket. She is always the unsung hero for them. And I believe she was giving kids the business offensively. She was giving her the business. And they kind of went away from her offensively at a certain point. But I would have loved if LSU kind of rode that wave with her because she was really, really going on a streak at a certain point in the game. Brings me to the SEC tournament MVP, Mylasia Fulwiley, the freshman. Listen, 24 points, career game. She was the spark. They didn't have an answer for her. She had, 11 unanswered points at a certain point where she just hooping to the basket, three-pointer, getting steals. I thought LSU would have said, you know what, after that third bucket she had on Haley Van Lith, let's get Haley off of her. Let's put our best defender in Flage. That's what I would have loved to see. Flage would have at least tried to slow her down because I think Flage is a little bit smarter defensively. Obviously, active hands. She leads that team in steals. She's also quicker. I would have switched out. I would have said, all right, Haley, you go over there. We finna put Flage on her. Like, let's try to stop this momentum that they have. Because she was the one leading that whole charge for them that really got them back into that game. Because at one point, LSU was taking it back. And then she just went on a run. I would have loved to see LSU make adjustments defensively to whoever had that hot hand. They kind of rode it all the way through. But to me, that was the key factor is that Mylasia Fulwiley started to get hot. And LSU really didn't have an answer for her. Both of these teams, I desperately would love if they played a 7-game series. I would desperately love it. I don't know if they're going to find seeing each other again in the tournament. I do think they're going to work very hard to put them on opposite sides of the bracket per se, because obviously viewership, all those things. But, man, I don't know. If they see each other again, it's going to be something. It's going to be something. I mean, this entire tournament is about to be crazy. And if you're not watching, you better be. You better be, because I'm telling you, this women's basketball March Madness is about to be special.